You want an Apple Watch but can't decide between the Series 10 and the Ultra 2? Hi, I'm Lexi. Welcome to your weekly dose of all things mobile. You have come to the right place because we are comparing everything about these watches, from screens, battery, health and fitness features, and everything else in between. Right out of the gate, your number one consideration is probably price. The Ultra 2 is easy because it's one size and one price, $799 in the US. The Series 10 is a little more complex because it comes in two sizes with two different finishes. It starts at $399, but some configurations can get you all the way up to, you guessed it, $799. So, Ultra 2 or Series 10? Let's go! First up, let's get some side-by-sides going on screen so you can really see the difference between them when we're talking numbers. The Series 10 comes in either a 42mm or 46mm case with curved front glass. The Ultra 2 is a 49mm case with a flat display. My wrist is 152mm for reference if you want an idea of how each might sit on you. But even though the Ultra 2 has a bigger case, it's the 46mm Series 10 that technically has the biggest screen of any Apple Watch by 3%. Yes, you heard that right, 3%. Okay, so if you watched any of my previous videos, you know I will always keep it real with you. When I put these two side by side, I really can't see a screen size difference. Maybe I need a magnifying glass? But practically speaking, you can pretty much see the same amount of stuff on each, from watch faces to text in apps and of course messages. So I wouldn't pick the larger Series 10 purely for bragging rights. Something way more practical and that you can actually see though is the wide-angle OLED and LTPO3 tech on the Series 10, which is not on the Ultra. This means the Series 10 is a bit brighter when you look at the screen off-axis, especially with the always-on display active. And you get a ticking second hand on watch faces like reflections, flux, and activity digital, powered by LTPO3. Now you don't get that ticking second hand on the Ultra 2 with the always-on display. But overall screen brightness might be more important to you than either of these things because the Ultra 2 screen gets brighter, up to a maximum 3000 nits versus 2000. Indoors or outdoors, you will have no issues seeing either though. If you hadn't guessed by now, the Ultra 2 is built to be a more durable and rugged watch. The titanium case is slightly raised to give more edge protection to the sapphire crystal display. The Series 10 display has two different coatings depending on what case material you choose. It's Ion X glass if you get the aluminium or aluminum version for my international friends, or sapphire crystal on the titanium version. Both are dust and water resistant, but the Ultra 2 can go down to 100 meters compared to 50 meters, and it has some exclusive diving features as well. Which is more comfortable to wear? Well, I was firmly on Team Big Smartwatch, but after wearing the Series 10, it is the winner for me on this front, especially for sleep tracking. But the Ultra 2 has one design feature that, like a siren's call, keeps drawing me back in. The action button can do almost anything, from launching a workout, starting the stopwatch, the flashlight, or even triggering a custom shortcut. It can even change depending on context. So if you're on a workout, for example, you can press it again, say, to mark a segment. And with the update to watchOS 11, it gets even more helpful because you can now long press and hold it and you'll see a list of actions pop up. Alright, let's put the aesthetics aside and see what makes these watches really tick. The Series 10 runs a newer S10 chip, while the Ultra 2 is on the earlier S9 chip. Again, practically speaking, I am keeping it real with you. There is no noticeable difference in performance between these two watches. Apps open at pretty much the same time, on-device Siri is the same on both, and double tap, the gesture that lets you do this to interact with the watch, also works exactly the same. They also share the same software experience for the most part with watchOS, including a comprehensive app selection, precision finding with a compatible iPhone like the 15 or 16 series, and 64 gigabytes of storage. The Ultra 2 does have two exclusive watch faces, Wayfinder and Modular Ultra, and they both support a night mode to automatically turn red when it's dark, or you can keep it on all the time if you like. And the Ultra 2 also lets you put one more data field on your workout screen, but it's kind of it for the software differences. It's a really short list. You can take calls on either of these watches when your phone is within range because they both have a speaker and microphone. Or you can live that phone-free life and get LTE on the Apple Watch so you can make calls and stay connected when you're away from your phone. LTE on the Ultra and the Titanium Series 10 comes as standard, but it does cost extra if you want it on the aluminum model of the Series 10. Now don't forget, there's generally an added fee you'll pay to your wireless provider to activate LTE on your compatible watch so you can actually take calls. You can set that up from the Watch app. Alright, so to test this next part, let's make some noise and head outside.
You're listening to audio recorded from a call on the Ultra 2. It has a dual speaker and a 3-mic array specifically designed to help reduce wind noise in outdoor situations. So take a listen to this audio. And this is audio from the Series 10. It only has a single speaker and microphone. However, it does have voice isolation. So what that's doing is reducing background noise. So you can compare the two and see which one you like.
Despite those hardware differences, they sound pretty much the same. Both also let you jam out to your favorite tunes without headphones. Just load up music, audiobooks, or podcasts, press play. You can route the audio through the watch's speaker. Just don't be a pest when you do this, please. Are you getting the sense that these watches are pretty similar so far internally? Well, that's not going to change very much in this section. These watches are super similar when it comes to health and fitness tracking. They each have a temperature sensor, ECG or electrocardiogram app, high and low heart rate alerts, and irregular heart rhythm alerts. A little side note, if you're in the US and you purchase a new Ultra 2 or Series 10, you won't have access to the blood oxygen sensor due to a patent dispute. But if you manage to find an Ultra 2 that was sold prior to 18th of January 2024, your blood oxygen sensor should still work. And this is US only, not for my international friends. And guess what? The heart rate sensor is exactly the same on both. I've compared the Ultra 2 against a chest strap and it matches up almost beat for beat. Both track your daily activity with rings, and now with watchOS 11 you can change each day's goal or even hit pause if you need to. They also each track a long list of workouts, monitor heart rate zones, and let you connect Bluetooth accessories like power meter pedals. And both offer sleep apnea notifications, fall detection, car crash detection, and emergency SOS. But wait, I found some differences. The Ultra 2 has an 86 decibel siren and a wider operating range than the Series 10. It also has a depth gauge that's rated to 40 meters versus 6 meters on the Series 10. Now, this watch isn't technically rated for scuba diving, but it does have a depth app, just like the Ultra 2. GPS is also different. The Ultra 2 has a dual frequency GPS that uses both L1 and L5 bands, while the Series 10 uses just L1. Acronym SuperSide. The Ultra 2 will be more accurate at tracking distance and route information in built-up areas. Alright, it's time for the 1-2 punch. The Ultra 2 delivers a devastating blow to the Series 10 when it comes to battery life. There is no competition here. Apple officially rates the Series 10 at 18 hours and the Ultra 2 at 36 hours, but real talk, you can get a lot more out of each of these with what I'd call regular use, which is notifications from the phone, the always-on display, a 1-hour GPS workout, and doing some sleep tracking. You can get a day and a half from the Series 10 before needing to charge. With the same usage patterns, I can get closer to 3 days on the Ultra 2. Now, both have a low power mode to extend the battery life even further. Of course, this is going to vary depending on how you use the watch. Resource-intensive tasks like using a lot of LTE and listening to music over either Bluetooth headphones or through the speaker will definitely deplete your battery sooner. Both also support fast charging as long as you have a 20-watt or higher adapter and use the cable provided in the box. The Series 10 gets you up to 80% in 30 minutes, and yes, I did verify that's the case in my own testing, while the Ultra 2 charges to 80% in an hour. This was a lot to digest, so I get it if you just skip straight to the end and want the answer as to which watch to buy. Even though they look wildly different on the outside and are suited to very different use cases, they are surprisingly similar on the inside. If you know you need the best battery life, a tougher construction, and specific scuba features, get the Ultra 2. But as much as it pains me to say this as someone who is firmly on Team Big Smartwatch and writing love letters to that action button, I'm actually recommending the Series 10 for most people, including myself. It's going to do pretty much everything you need for less cash. And who doesn't love a bargain? Unless you choose the titanium 46mm version with the fancy band options, and that gets you to the same price, if not more, than the Ultra 2. So then I would just say get the Ultra 2. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was super helpful for you. As always, you can drop me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts or any other questions you have about these two watches, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!